Right now, somewhere in this country, one person just did the job of an entire company, not with employees, not with money, with 8 skills running on a laptop. Here's what nobody's saying out loud. The gap in 2026 isn't between people who use AI and people who don't. Everyone uses AI now. That race is over. The real gap, the one deciding who wins and who gets left behind, is between people who've mastered 8 specific skills and people still typing one question at a time into a chat box like it's 2023. 8 skills, not a computer science degree, not years of training. 8 tools used the right way, and the distance between you and the top 1% of creators in this space closes almost overnight. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they are in the exact order that matters, starting with the one already replacing entire research teams. Winners and losers, that's not a headline. In 2026, that's just how this works now. Let's start with skill number 8. And I picked this one to open the list on purpose because it's the one most people still think is just for students. It's called NotebookLM. It's free, it's made by Google, and it might be the single most underrated tool in the entire AI world right now. Here's the idea behind it. You dump your sources in, PDFs, articles, your own messy notes, a stack of research papers, even a YouTube video link, and NotebookLM reads all of it. Not skims, reads. Then it turns that pile of information into whatever format actually gets through to your brain. Think about that for a second. How much of what you learn every week you never actually absorb? You save the article, you bookmark the PDF, it sits there, guilt sitting on top of it forever unread. NotebookLM ends that cycle. Say the word and it builds you a podcast. Not a robotic summary, an actual conversation between 2 AI hosts, going back and forth unpacking your material like they've lived with it for years. You can tell them what to focus on. Only cover the financial risks. Explain this like I'm hearing it for the first time. And here's the part that still gets people the first time they try it. You can interrupt. You can jump into the conversation and ask a question mid-episode, and the hosts answer you live, then keep going. It works in more than 80 languages. Commute, gym, dishes, your reading list becomes your listening list. But the podcast was just a beginning. Now there's video overviews, your sources turned into a narrated visual presentation, like a slide deck that built and voiced itself while you did something else. And this year, Google pushed it even further with cinematic video overviews, fully animated, styled videos, scientific, editorial, sketchnote, whatever fits, running on the same technology behind Google's most advanced video models. There's even a short video overview mode now. Built for a phone held vertically, your entire document compressed into a 60-second video, the way your brain is already trained to consume information on TikTok and Shorts. Need something visual instead? NotebookLM now generates infographics too, in 10 different styles, from clean corporate diagrams to hand-drawn sketch notes. Turn a rambling voice memo into a polished diagram your whole team can understand in 5 seconds. And if you're doing real research, a business plan, a thesis, a competitive analysis, there's a deep research feature that goes out, gathers material, and hands you back a structured report flagging the gaps in your own knowledge that you didn't know were there. Here's a real example. Teachers are using this right now to turn a 200-page textbook chapter into a podcast their students actually listen to, a diagram they actually study, and a quiz they actually pass. Founders are using it to turn a folder of investor research into a 15-minute briefing before a pitch meeting. Journalists are feeding in hundreds of pages of court documents and getting a structured summary back in minutes, with everything linked to the exact source so nothing gets made up. Or picture a small business owner drowning in customer reviews and support tickets, trying to find the pattern in the complaints. Instead of reading every single one, they drop the whole pile in and ask, what are people really complaining about? Minutes later, they have the answer and a podcast episode explaining it, ready for the drive home. That's the real shift. It's not that AI reads faster than you, it's that it reads everything, cross-references all of it, and hands you back only what matters, in whatever shape your brain absorbs best. The bottleneck was never information, it was time and attention. This gives you both back. And the best part? The core of this is free. No credit card. You get 50 sources per notebook, 50 chats a day, a handful of audio overviews to start. If you fall in love with it, and you will, the paid tiers start under $8 a month for more sources, more chats, and the cinematic video features. If you've been drowning in tabs, articles, videos, and PDFs you'll never open again, this is how you come up for air. Go try it at notebooklm.google.com. Quick pause. If this is already changing how you think about your own reading pile, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe, and come back every day because Skill 7 is about to change how you think about cameras entirely. Skill number 7. And I want to be honest with you about this one because it's the strangest one on this entire list. Everyone already knows this exists. You've seen the videos, you've seen the images, and most people are still using maybe 5% of what these tools can actually do. I'm talking about AI photo and video generation. Specifically, 2 image tools and 2 video tools that together replace an entire production studio. Nano Banana and ChatGPT Image for photos, Veo and Seedance for video. Let's start with the photos. Nano Banana is Google's image model, built right into Gemini and Flow, and the thing that makes it different from the AI images you remember from a couple of years ago is simple. It actually listens. Ask for text on a sign in any language, and it renders correctly instead of turning into alien scribbles. Ask it to keep a character consistent across 10 different images, and it holds the face, the outfit, the lighting. Feed it a messy whiteboard photo and ask for a clean diagram, and it hands you one in seconds. ChatGPT Image, OpenAI's version inside ChatGPT, does something similar, but it's even better. It can actually think through a request before generating, planning the composition instead of guessing on the first try. Between the two, there's functionally no image a small business can't produce in-house anymore. Product photography, ad creative, packaging mock-ups, a restaurant menu redesign, all of it from a laptop in the time it takes to write a sentence. Picture a small clothing brand that used to spend a full day and a real photography budget on a single product shoot. Model, studio, lighting, retouching, the works. Now the founder describes the exact look they want. The model, the pose, the lighting, the background, even the specific shade of fabric. 20 variations come back before lunch. They pick the 3 that feel right, and the rest of the afternoon goes to actually running the business instead of managing a shoot. Now, here's where it gets almost unfair. Video used to be the wall nobody could climb without a camera crew, actors, and a budget with several zeros in it. Veo, Google's video model, generates footage with synchronized audio built in. Dialogue, footsteps, wind, a door closing, all in the same pass, matching the picture like it was filmed that way. Seedance, ByteDance's video model, does something similar at a cinematic level, and it's become the go-to tool for creators who need that quality. Dozens of short clips a week instead of one polished video a month. So which one do you actually use? Simple way to think about it. Need a still image, a product shot, a poster, a thumbnail, an infographic? Reach for Nano Banana or ChatGPT Image, and let the fact that you have 2 options work in your favor. If one gets a detail wrong, run the same prompt through the other. Need motion, a commercial, a social clip, a scene with dialogue? Seedance when quality matters most and you're willing to wait a little longer for it. Veo when you need speed and volume, testing 10 versions of an ad before picking the one that performs. Think about what that actually means for a small business owner. You used to need a videographer, a studio day, an editor, and 2 weeks of turnaround for one 30-second ad. Now you write a paragraph describing the shot, camera angle, lighting, mood, what's said, what's heard, and you have a finished clip before your coffee gets cold. E-commerce brands are using this to generate an entire product launch campaign, photos and video both, without booking a single shoot. Local businesses are making commercials that used to require an agency retainer on a budget that used to only cover a logo. We've already watched major household name brands run entire ad campaigns built this way. No set, no crew, no location fee. Some of it landed well, some of it got mocked online for looking a little too artificial. The lesson isn't avoid this. The lesson is that the businesses paying attention right now are the ones learning what looks real and what doesn't, months before their competitors even open the app. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you a little in a good way. A one-person business using these 4 tools together can now produce marketing content that looks like it came from a team of 15 people. Not pretty good for AI, actually indistinguishable in a scroll from something a real crew shot. Ask yourself, how many of the ads you scrolled past this week were never filmed at all? How many of the faces were never real and you couldn't tell? And this is exactly where most people are stuck. They tried an image generator once, got a weird 6-fingered hand, and wrote the whole category off. That was true 18 months ago. It is not true anymore. The tools got good while you weren't looking, and the businesses that noticed are the ones now outproducing their competitors 10 to 1 for a fraction of the cost. You can try the image side inside Gemini at gemini.com or inside ChatGPT at chatgpt.com. Both let you generate for free before you ever consider paying. For video, Google's Flow tool lives inside its video workspace at labs.google, and Seedance is available through ByteDance's platform at dreamina.capcut.com. Start free on all 4, and only upgrade once you've hit a wall you actually feel. If you run any kind of business, a channel, or a brand, and you have not opened one of these in the last month, that's not a small gap anymore. That's the whole game happening without you. All right, quick breather. Like this video, subscribe, and stay with me because skill 6 is the one that turns you into a musician even if you've never written a lyric in your life. Skill number 6, and this is the one that turns you into a musician whether or not you've ever touched an instrument in your life. It's called Suno. And I want you to sit with what it actually does for a second, because it sounds like a gimmick until you hear it. You type a sentence, a mood, a genre, a topic, maybe just an upbeat pop song about starting over. And in under a minute, you have a complete track. Vocals, instruments, mixing, structure, verse, chorus, bridge. Not a loop, not a jingle. An actual song that sounds like it came out of a real studio with a real singer, because at this point, most listeners genuinely cannot tell the difference. Here's the part that changes everything though. You don't need to write a single lyric. You don't need to know a chord from a scale. Suno can write the words for you, build the melody around them, and produce the whole thing start to finish from one sentence of direction. No creativity required, just an idea. And if you want to go further, you can put your own voice into it. Record about a minute of yourself talking or singing, and Suno builds a custom voice model from it. From that point on, every song it makes for you can come out sounding like you sang it. Think about that, a birthday song for your daughter in your voice that you never had to record a single note of. A wedding gift sung in the groom's own voice that he never actually sang. People are building entire emotional moments out of this, not because it's clever technology, but because of what it lets them give to someone they love without needing to be a born musician. Some are even using it to bring back a feeling that words alone couldn't hold, turning a parent's favorite saying into a full song, or setting the story of how 2 people met to music as a gift nobody expected. Genre isn't a limit here either. Gregorian chant, cyberpunk glitch hop, 90s boom bap, a slow, aching country ballad. Whatever reference point you throw at it, Suno has almost certainly heard enough of that genre to nail the feel on the first or second attempt. And for anyone who wants to go deeper than just generating and moving on, there's now a full audio workstation built in. Pull the vocals out from the instrumental, isolate a single drum track, export stems for a proper mix, layer a generated verse under a chorus you recorded yourself. It went from a novelty toy to something producers actually build finished records inside of. Now, flip it around and think business, not sentiment. Every video needs music. Every ad, every podcast intro, every reel, every YouTube channel. For years, that meant either paying licensing fees you couldn't quite justify, or using the same 11 royalty-free tracks everyone else on the internet was also using, and everybody could tell. Now, it means describing exactly the mood you need, tense, hopeful, triumphant, melancholic, and getting an original track built specifically for that 30 seconds of footage with full rights to use it. No licensing office, no email chain, no invoice. Picture a gym opening a new location and wanting a signature sound for every one of its social ads, something that feels like their brand, not a stock library. Instead of hiring a composer and waiting 2 weeks for a demo, they describe the energy they want in one sentence, generate a dozen variations that afternoon, and have their entire campaign scored before the sign goes up outside. A wedding videographer building highlight reels for 6 different couples in a month used to license 6 different tracks and hope none of the clients wanted the same one their friend used. Now, every couple gets something written, in effect, just for them. There's an entire category of creator built entirely on this now. Faceless music channels, no face on camera ever, generating original tracks, pairing them with AI-generated visuals, and building real audiences and real income purely on the strength of songs nobody wrote by hand. Small brands are commissioning custom jingles for a fraction of what a jingle house used to charge. Podcasters are generating theme music that actually fits their show's tone instead of grabbing whatever stock track was cheapest. A quick word of honesty, because I'd rather you know this going in than get surprised later. This space is still working through some real legal questions, particularly around music labels and how AI-generated tracks interact with existing copyright law. That's worth knowing if you're planning to build an entire business on top of it. For most individual creators making content for their own channel, the practical risk is low, and the free tier is genuinely built for exactly that kind of everyday, non-commercial use. Which brings me to the number that should stop you for a second. Suno has been used by roughly 100 million people. Not downloaded, used, made a song with it. That's not a niche tool anymore. That's a shift in who gets to call themselves a musician. Here's a question worth sitting with. How many hours of your life have you spent scrolling past videos with music that almost fit, but not quite? A little too generic, a little too familiar? What would it actually feel like to never have that problem ever again, because the exact right track for the exact right moment takes you 60 seconds to make? You can start for free, no card required, at Suno.com. The free tier gives you real, usable songs every single day, enough to genuinely test whether this changes how you create. If it does, and for most people it does, the paid tier that unlocks full commercial rights costs less than a single streaming subscription a month. Alright, don't go anywhere, because Skill 5 is about to let you speak languages you've never studied a day of in your life. Skill number 5, and this is the one that quietly turns a local creator or a local business into a global one overnight. It's called HeyGen, and what it does sounds almost too simple to be this powerful. You upload a video of yourself talking in English, and it hands you back the exact same video in Spanish, or Portuguese, or Japanese, or German. Same face, same voice, cloned to sound like you. And here's the detail that makes this different from every dubbing tool that came before it. Your lips actually move to match the new language, not the old English mouth shapes with foreign audio slapped on top, the way dubbed movies have looked wrong for decades. Your mouth genuinely forms the new words. Watch it without knowing, and you would swear that person grew up speaking that language. For decades, dubbing meant one of two things: a flat, disconnected voiceover where the mouth clearly says one thing and you hear another, or a studio budget large enough to actually reshoot with local talent. Neither option existed for a normal creator or a small business. This is the first time that gap has ever actually closed. Sit with what that actually removes is a barrier. For as long as online video has existed, your reach was capped by whatever language you happened to be born speaking. A brilliant tutorial in English simply did not exist for the 3.5 billion people who don't speak English as a first language. You could hire a local actor and reshoot for every market, wildly expensive, wildly slow, or you could just not reach them. Most creators and most businesses chose not reach them, not because they didn't want the audience, but because the cost of getting there never made sense. That math just broke completely. The single video you already made can now become dozens of versions of itself, each one looking like it was filmed natively in that country for a fraction of what a single reshoot used to cost. We're talking well over 170 languages and dialects available, which is functionally every market on Earth that has an internet connection. A dubbing studio charging by the minute per language for a professional voice actor and a sound engineer used to put this completely out of reach for anyone who wasn't a major studio or a national broadcaster. Now, it's a line item smaller than your monthly coffee budget. Think about who benefits most from this. An online course creator with one English language course can offer it in dozens of languages without hiring a single translator or actor, unlocking markets that were previously invisible to them entirely. Someone in Brazil finally gets the exact same course, in Portuguese, from the exact same instructor, instead of a cheaper knockoff made by someone else entirely. A company running employee training videos can localize every single one for their offices worldwide instead of forcing everyone through subtitles nobody actually reads, which means safety training, compliance training, onboarding, all of it actually landing instead of getting skimmed. A YouTuber sitting on a channel full of English content can spin up versions for Spanish-speaking or Portuguese-speaking audiences without ever leaving their own living room, effectively multiplying their potential audience without creating a single new piece of content. A software company doing a product demo can localize their entire sales pipeline for a new region in an afternoon instead of waiting a quarter for a localization budget to clear. Even a nonprofit running a single awareness campaign can put the same message in the founder's own voice in front of donors on 3 different continents without ever needing a translation budget at all. And if lip sync isn't even necessary for your use case, say a voiceover style explainer where the speaker isn't always on camera, there's a simpler dubbing mode that swaps the audio and keeps your original voice character at an even lower cost for when perfect mouth matching isn't the priority. Here's the question worth actually asking yourself. How much of your audience, right now, today, cannot understand a single word you say? Not because your content isn't good enough for them, but because you've never had an affordable way to reach them in their own language. For most creators, that number is enormous. It's usually the majority of the world sitting just outside a wall that used to be too expensive to knock down. This is also where the clone yourself idea starts to take shape, which is exactly where we're headed in a moment, because the same technology that can put your face and voice into a new language can put your face into an entirely new video you never even filmed. You can try it yourself at HeyGen.com. The free plan lets you test a few short videos to see the lip sync quality with your own face and your own voice before you commit to anything. Once you see it working on your own footage, once you actually watch your own mouth speaking a language you've never studied, the case for expanding to a global audience basically makes itself. Alright, hang with me, because what's coming next in Skill 4 and Skill 3 might be the most surprising pair on this entire list: cloning your voice, and then cloning all of you. Skills 4 and 3. I'm putting these two together because they're really one idea told in 2 chapters. First, you clone your voice, then you clone all of you. Chapter 1, your voice. The tool is called ElevenLabs, and what it does is almost uncomfortable the first time you hear it. Feed it a short clip of you talking, as little as a minute, and it builds a digital version of your voice that can say absolutely anything you type, in your tone, your cadence, your accent, the little quirks that make your voice yours and nobody else's. Type a script, hit generate, and it comes back in your voice saying words you never actually spoke. Think about what that unlocks. A podcaster records an intro once, then generates every future episode's intro without sitting back down at the mic. An author narrates one clean sample chapter, then produces an entire audiobook in their own voice without spending 40 hours in a booth. A business owner scripts 100 product videos and voices every single one without recording 100 takes. And if you'd rather not use your own voice at all, that's fine too. Pick from a library of ready-made voices, or design a brand new one from scratch, describing the tone you want and letting the model build a voice that's never existed before. There's a use for this that goes beyond convenience too. People facing conditions that slowly take away their ability to speak have started banking their voice while they still can, recording enough of themselves now so that later their own voice can still read their kids a bedtime story or say "I love you" in a way that still sounds like them. That's not a marketing use case. That's just what happens when you give people a tool like this and get out of the way. If you just want to experiment before spending anything, Google's AI Studio has a solid text-to-speech tool built in, completely free, which is a perfectly good place to start learning what a good AI voice even sounds like before you commit to cloning your own. Chapter 2, and this is where it gets genuinely strange. HeyGen, the same tool from a minute ago that translated your videos, does something else entirely. It lets you clone your entire self. Not just your voice, your face, your expressions, your gestures, the way you move when you talk. Upload a couple of minutes of footage of yourself, and it builds a digital twin that can deliver an entirely new script on camera that you never actually filmed. It looks like you, it sounds like you, it moves like you, and it just said something you wrote 5 minutes ago in a text box. Sit with that for a moment because it's worth sitting with. The version of you on screen isn't a recording pulled from some archive. It's a living performance, generated fresh, of words that exist for the first time you type them. Change the script tomorrow, and your digital twin says something completely different, in the exact same voice, the exact same face, the exact same mannerisms, without you ever picking up a phone to film again. Now, be honest with yourself for a second. How many good ideas you've had for videos that never got made purely because you didn't want to set up a camera, do your hair, find good lighting, and record 12 takes to get one clean minute? For a huge number of people, that friction is the entire reason they never started a channel, never made the training video, never recorded the sales pitch. This removes that friction completely. You write it once, your digital twin delivers it on demand as many times as you need, in as many versions as you need, without you ever touching a camera again. Think about who this actually serves. Someone who's camera shy but genuinely valuable knowledge to share and has been sitting on that knowledge for years because the idea of being on camera made their stomach turn. A business owner who needs 50 product explainer videos and does not have 50 afternoons free to film them personally. A course creator updating a lesson every week who used to need a full reshoot for a single sentence change and now just edits the script and regenerates. Executives recording company-wide announcements without ever needing a film crew on site. A real estate agent who wants a personalized video for every single listing, greeting each potential buyer by name and walking them through the property without filming 50 separate walkthroughs a month. A consultant or coach who wants to turn one great piece of advice into 100 personalized outreach videos for 100 different prospects, each one feeling like it was made just for them. And there's something quieter here too. People are using this to preserve a version of themselves, on record, for family, for the future, in a way that used to only exist in old home movies. A grandparent recording enough footage now that a digital version of them can still tell stories to grandchildren not yet born. It sounds unusual until you actually think about what a home video even was in the first place, an attempt to hold on to a moment. This is just a more complete version of the same instinct. Both tools are simple to start with. ElevenLabs is at ElevenLabs.io with a free tier generous enough to actually test whether your cloned voice sounds like you before paying anything. And HeyGen, again, is at HeyGen.com. The same free plan from a moment ago covers your first digital twin experiments too. Here's the honest truth about skills 4 and 3. They're the ones that feel the most like science fiction right up until the moment you try them on yourself. Then they just feel like a tool you can't believe you lived without. Now, skill 2 is where this stops being about content and starts being about actually building things. Skill number 2, and this is the one that quietly separates people who use AI for content from people who use AI to build actual things. It's called vibe coding, the idea that you describe the outcome you want, your own app or automation, and the AI handles all the actual programming underneath it without you needing to understand any of it. It's built on tools like Claude Code and ChatGPT Codex, coding agents that don't just answer questions about code, they actually write it, run it, test it, fix it when it breaks, and keep going until the thing you asked for actually works. You don't type a single line of code yourself. You describe what you want in plain English, the way you'd explain it to a smart friend, and the agent goes and builds it. This isn't the same thing as asking a chatbot a coding question and copy-pasting the answer into your own project hoping it works. That's what AI coding looked like before. This is different. These are coding agents. They open a real project on a real computer, create the files, run the program, read the actual output, and when it's broken, they see the error the same way a human developer would and go fix it themselves. You can walk away and come back to a finished result. Let that sink in for a second. For as long as software has existed, if you had an idea for an app, an internal tool, a way to automate some annoying part of your job, you had exactly two options. Learn to code yourself, which takes years most people don't have, or hire someone who already knows how, which takes money most people don't have either. That wall just came down, not got a little lower, came down. Here's what this actually looks like in practice. You tell it, build me a tool that takes my messy spreadsheet of customer orders and turns it into a clean dashboard I can check every morning. It writes the code, it runs the code. If something breaks, it reads the error message, fixes its own mistake, and tries again, without you ever seeing the failure, without you needing to understand what went wrong. 15 minutes later, you have a working tool, not a mock-up, not a prototype, something you can actually use tomorrow morning. Small business owners are using this to build the exact internal tool they always wished existed but could never justify hiring a developer for. An inventory tracker built around their specific weird process, a scheduling tool that matches how their team actually works instead of forcing them into somebody else's template. Marketers are automating entire weekly workflows that used to eat half a day, describing the automation once and letting it run every week after that. Solo founders are building their first working app from a single idea in a weekend and shipping it to real users before a traditional development team would have finished the first planning meeting. Picture someone who's run a small accounting practice for 15 years, still emailing spreadsheets back and forth with clients because that's just how it's always been done. One weekend, they describe what they actually want, a simple portal where clients upload documents and see their status, instead of a messy email thread. They've never written a line of code in their life. By Sunday night, it exists, running, usable, solving a problem that had quietly annoyed them for over a decade. That's not a hypothetical anymore. That's a completely normal weekend for someone who picked up this one skill. Now, quick and honest comparison because you'll want to know which one to actually start with. Claude Code tends to be the one developers and technical teams reach for when the project gets serious. Longer tasks, bigger code bases, more autonomous, multi-step work. And it's known for staying on task through long, complicated builds without losing the plot. The catch is that it does require a paid plan to use. There's no meaningful free tier. ChatGPT Codex is the friendlier front door for a total beginner, since it's built directly into ChatGPT and you can get a real taste of it even on the free plan before deciding whether to go further, which makes it the lower risk place to dip your toe in first. Neither one is the wrong choice. Start with whichever one you already have access to and figure out your preference from actually using it, not from a comparison chart. Most people who go deep enough end up using both for different kinds of projects. Here's the question I want you to actually ask yourself. What's the one annoying, repetitive, manual task in your work or your business that you've just been living with because fixing it properly always felt like a project too big to start? A spreadsheet you rebuild every Monday, a report you copy-paste together by hand, a process that only works because you personally remember all the exceptions, the one nobody else on the team can run without you. That thing is very likely a weekend project now, not a hire, not a quarter-long initiative, not a line item in next year's budget, a weekend described in your own words while everyone else keeps doing it the slow way. This is also the skill that quietly sets up everything in our final segment, because once you can build tools that automate pieces of your work, the natural next question becomes, what if something could run all of it together on its own? You can find Claude Code at claude.com and ChatGPT Codex at chatgpt.com. Both have documentation written for people who've never opened a terminal in their life. You really can start from zero. Alright, this is the one I genuinely tell a friend to go try today, and it leads directly into skill number 1, the one that changes what doing your job even means. Skill number 1, the best one, AI agents. And it's the one almost everybody gets wrong on the first try, for one simple reason. It looks exactly like a chatbot. You open Claude Cowork or ChatGPT Work, and you see a text box, familiar, comfortable. and your brain immediately files it under another place to ask questions, the same category as every AI chat app you've used for the last few years. That assumption is the single biggest mistake you can make about this category, because it is not that, not even close. Here's the actual difference. With your permission, these agents can operate your computer, not describe what you should click, actually click it. Open the browser, fill in the form, move between windows, work through a multi-step process from start to finish, the exact way you would if you sat down and did it yourself, except it doesn't get tired, doesn't get distracted, and doesn't need to ask you what to do next at every single step. You grant the access once, you set the boundaries, and then it works. And it doesn't just work inside itself. Connect it to the apps you already live in every day: Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Slack, Notion, Salesforce, Canva, WordPress, and it stops being a tool you visit and becomes something that already lives where your work lives. It can read what's in your inbox, check what's on your calendar, pull a file from your drive, post an update in Slack, and update a page in Notion, all as part of one single instruction you gave it once. Here's the part that ties this entire video together. Remember every tool we covered so far? NotebookLM, the image and video generators, Suno, HeyGen, ElevenLabs, Claude, Code? Your agent can operate those too. You're not juggling 8 separate tools anymore, logging into each one, copying results between them by hand. You give one instruction, and the agent moves between the others on your behalf, using the right one for the right part of the job, the same way you would if you had the time to do it all yourself. And this is the detail most people miss entirely. You can train it, give it examples of how you actually write, correct it when it gets your tone wrong, set rules for how you want things handled, what needs your approval, what doesn't, how formal or casual to be, what you'd never say. Over time, it stops sounding like a generic assistant and starts sounding unsettlingly like you. So let's make this concrete, starting simple and building up. The simplest version? It opens your inbox every morning, drafts replies to the routine emails in a tone that sounds like you, and only flags the handful that actually need your judgment. One step up, you hand it a messy spreadsheet of last quarter's numbers, and it comes back with a clean, presentable slide deck ready for the meeting without you touching a single chart. Further still, you tell it your posting preferences, and it writes the caption, generates the images using the tools from earlier in this video, and actually publishes it to your social media accounts without you opening the app at all. It can sit on the front line of customer service too, answering the same 10 questions your customers ask every single day in your brand's voice, escalating only the ones that genuinely need a human. Another end of what's possible? You describe a website, it builds it using the same coding skill from a moment ago, and then it hosts it live on the internet without a developer, a hosting tutorial, or a single support ticket to your web host. None of these are separate tricks. They're the same one thing applied to a different part of your day. You stopped operating the tools yourself and started directing an agent that operates them for you. You can find Claude Cowork at claude.com and ChatGPT work at chatgpt.com. So let's go back to where we started. One person, an entire company replaced by 8 skills on a laptop. That wasn't an exaggeration to hook you in. That's just what these 8 things do stacked together in the hands of one person who decided to actually open them instead of scrolling past. A podcast built from your own notes playing in someone's car on their commute. A photo shoot that never needed a camera, a studio, or a single invoice. A song written in a minute in a voice that used to only exist in one person's memory. A video speaking a language you never learned, reaching someone you'll never meet. A voice and a face that can keep working long after you've clocked out for the day. An app built over a weekend by someone who a year ago couldn't have told you what a line of code even looked like. And an agent quietly running all of it, checking things off a list while you were somewhere else entirely, at your kid's game, asleep, living the part of your life that was never supposed to compete with your inbox. None of these were ever really about the technology. The people who end up ahead from here aren't smarter than everyone else, and they didn't start earlier, and they definitely aren't luckier. They just stopped waiting for the right moment to try the next thing on the list. The right moment was never coming. It was always just going to be a Tuesday like this one. You now have the list. If this was useful, follow the channel, and if you know 5 people still doing this the hard way, send them this video, because the gap between the two groups is only going to get wider from here. Leave a comment and tell me, honestly, which of these 8 you're trying first and what you want me to cover next. See you in the next one.